everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today as I show you all my series shame. So I have seen quite a number of people doing videos like this where they go through and talk about all the series that they are currently reading, series that they have finished, DNF'd, all of that sort of thing. And I honestly had never really thought about doing that. I wasn't super worried about how many series I had started and hadn't finished. But then in this latest version of CAWPILE, G has included a series tracker. So I thought, hey, why not? Let's have a look. And it's gotten a bit out of hand. So what I've done is I have included all of the series that I've read or that I am technically still reading or that I have DNF'd in my entire life. So there's a lot of series in here. What I haven't included is series that I have not yet started that I'm interested in reading, because otherwise we would be here forever. So what we're going to do today is we are going to go through and have a look and see just how terrible this is. So I will link G's video where she talks through this version of CAWPILE that she has released this year. If you want to go and check that out and use CAWPILE, I find it very, very helpful. CAWPILE is her rating system, but today we're going to be looking at the series tracker. I am not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to frame this. I'll let editing Mel decide, so future Mel, sorry about that. But we may be swapping around and having different things going on. So I am probably going to put the actual tracker, the spreadsheet, on the screen and make myself small at some point, and then bring it back to me being full screen, show some of the series, you know, all of those things. So we're going to jump around, so have fun with that. I do have some series that I am currently in the middle of that I'm considering deciding not to finish the series, and I need your help with that. I need you to let me know whether you think it's worth my while continuing with it, whether I will like continuing with it, etc. I also do have some priority series that I want to prioritize finishing off, or at least reading more of this year if possible, but just in general series that I really need to prioritize. I do also have some series that I'm technically in the middle of, but I'm not counting them as in the middle of in quite the same way as some of the other series that I'm actively reading and reading from start to finish. And that is because there's a few different series that I pick up a book here and there as I go, and that I don't feel you need to read as one long series, if that makes sense. So let's just dive on in. Now we've had all that explanation, and you'll see what I mean. I am going to be looking down at the screen. Let's go in and have a look at just what we're dealing with here. So all up, we have 114 series. Now remember that that doesn't include any series that I haven't yet started but want to read, which there are a few of those as well. 114. Of those, I have 67 ongoing. I have 20 that I have finished, and I have 26 that I have DNF'd. That's the extent to which we are dealing with series today. Yeah, I know. It's a little bit, unwieldy, shall we say? So anyway, yes, that is the situation. Now, in terms of the colours that we have here, the browns are what G had on here, so that's what I went with. She had done it up to, I think, 9 books or something like that. I added up to book 21 because I have quite a few series that are very long. But because not all series are 21 books long, what I did was I coloured in, so you see here the sort of beigey colour, I guess. I've coloured in how many books in the series are in the series, and then so the yellow where you see where Nevermore is indicating that there's one more coming, or however many more coming, but that one more coming, and it isn't out yet. And then the dark brown that we have here means that there is, well, in the case of the Hunger Games, it's technically a kind of companion book, so it's not necessarily a part of the trilogy, but there's another book that fits in somehow. And then we have orange means rumoured of, then we have purple or lilac, which are priority series, so series I'm going to prioritise hopefully this year. And then we have the kind of rosy pink colour, which is series I'm considering DNFing, which I need you to help me decide. So let's go through and we'll talk about each one as we go. So The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. You guys will have heard this explanation a few times now if you have been watching my channel for a while. Basically, I read all except the Rainwild Chronicles, and I tried to read the Rainwild Chronicles and couldn't get into them. I'm not really sure exactly why. I have some sort of suspicions. I talked about it before, but anyway, I hadn't read the Rainwild Chronicles, so I couldn't say I finished the entire Realm of the Elderlings, but I have now been reading the Rainwild Chronicles. I've read the first 2 books in that 4-book series within this overarching series. I have 2 books left and then I will be finished completely reading The Realm of the Elderlings by Robin Hobb. So that is definitely a priority. It is one of my favourite series of all time, despite having not read them all, and I am actually really enjoying the Rainwild Chronicles now. So yeah, it's a priority. I should just say this is in no particular order, it's just where I remembered them basically. Alright, then we have Russell and Holmes by L'Oreal King. So this is historical fiction Sherlock Holmes retelling that I've spoken about a number of times that I absolutely love, and again, despite saying it's one of my favourite series of all time, I have not yet finished it either. At last count there are 17 books out and I have read now up to book 15. I don't actually own book 17, so I need to get it, and that's a priority because I do want to finish that ASAP as well. Next up we have Nevermore by Jessica Townsend. Currently there are 3 books out. I have read those 3 books. We should be getting a 4th one towards the end of this year, which I'm super excited about. I anticipate purchasing and reading as soon as I can, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, so I'm up to date there. Then we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. So this is Ninth House and Hellbent. Hellbent only came out a month or so ago, well, not even quite. I'm not sure when this is going up, but yeah. So I'm really not that concerned about it. I've read the first one. I would like to reread Ninth House before I read Hellbent, but I don't feel that bad about it because it hasn't been out very long. Then we have the Peter Grant series by Ben Aronovich. There are 9 books in this series. I have read the first one. I will direct you to my self-destruct for video for this year because I have got the first 2 and I read the first one and loved it, bought the second one and then never read it. So I've put them on the self-destruct list to try and get myself to read them. It's not that I'm not interested in reading the series, I am, but I haven't prioritised it since I bought the second one, which was a long time ago now, like nearly 3 years. And there are so many books in the series. So even if I end up unhauling those books, I will still probably read the books. They're not a priority, is the thing. Then we have The Tribe by Annalyn Quay Molina. This is a trilogy. I have read the first 2 books. I have the 3rd book. I need to read it. It's a priority series for me as well. Definitely want to try and get that read very, very soon. My first, I'm considering DNFing. Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco. I believe there are 3 books and there will only be 3 books, so it's a trilogy as far as I know. I've read the first one. I did enjoy it. I can't remember what star rating I gave it, but I did remember that I quite enjoyed it and I was keen to continue. But that was probably 2 years ago now, and I just kind of lost interest, and I've just really been thinking recently, do I even want to continue with the series? Do I even care that much about keeping the book? I'm not really sure. So please comment below and let me know. Do you think I should continue with the series? Do you think I will enjoy it? Is it worth my time? Should I buy the rest? Let me know all those things in the comments below because I do need your help figuring that out. Then we have The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. So there are 14 books in this series. Now the situation with this one for me is that I think the first one came out in 95 or something like that. I was reading these books in my early 20s, so for the first 5, I think, I had them all, or my flatmate had them all, and I read them, but then they were still being released, so I was rereading everything that came before and then reading the next one. And yeah, there's a lot of books in the series, so it was taking me a long time, and I just kind of fell out of caring about it. It just sort of, it's a bit of a slog in those middle series. I was kind of annoyed with one of the main characters a lot of the time, and I just kind of didn't ever bother finishing it. However, the last 3 books, I'm pretty sure it's the last 3 books, were written by Brandon Sanderson, so I'm really keen to actually read those, finish off the series, and see what I think of Brandon Sanderson's finishing. But I definitely feel like I need to restart. I actually restarted the series a while ago now and read the first one, and then I just never continued on. So I do want to, but it's not a priority at the moment, but we'll just see how we go. Then we have Skyward, the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. This is his young adult sci-fi. There are currently 3 books out. I've read all 3. There is a 4th one due out sometime this year, which I'm anticipating that I will get sometime this year and read probably fairly quickly thereafter. So I'm up to date with that one. Then we have the Stormlight Archive, also by Brandon Sanderson. In Australia, they have separated the books into part 1 and part 2. I have read the first 2 books, so basically the first book I've read The Way of Kings, and then I didn't continue. I was going to, but I just kind of didn't, and I feel like I need to reread the first 2 books before I continue on with the series. It's not finished as far as I know, but I don't know when the next one's coming out. It's really not that much of a priority at the moment, mostly because they're huge books, but I do want to get to them, so let me know, should that be a priority as well? Then we have The Carls by Hank Green. So this is the sci-fi series, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing and a Beautifully Foolish Endeavour. I read An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, absolutely loved it, thought it was fantastic, and just never managed to pick up the next one. But I don't currently own it, so I haven't made it a priority, but I do really want to get to it, definitely. So there's that one. I'm pretty sure there's only 2 in that series. Then we have the Dirk Gently books by Douglas Adams. There are 2 in the series. I have read the first one recently. I need to read the second one. This is going to sound stupid, but I actually think these might be rereads for me, but I don't remember them well enough to even say they are. So I'm counting them as need to be read. Then we have Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. As far as I know, there are 2 books in that series. I read the first one, absolutely loved it. I'm thinking about DNFing this one because, frankly, I was quite happy with the first one. I don't think it needed a sequel, but if people comment and let me know that they think that it's amazing and that I'll really love it and I'll get a lot out of it and I should read it, then I may very well read it. It wouldn't be a priority, but I may very well read it. So please let me know that as well. So I haven't 100% decided to DNF properly, but I'm leaning more towards DNFing and just calling that first one amazing and happily have it stand on its own. Then we have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I have read the actual Hunger Games trilogy. There is the book A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. As far as I'm aware, it is a book about President Snow, and it's actually a prequel to the series. I've heard mostly really awful things about it, so I'm just not interested in reading it. I honestly couldn't care less. I really enjoyed the actual trilogy. I preferred the movies very slightly, but I did really enjoy the books as well. But I think they're done. As far as I'm concerned, they're done. I just don't want to read that last one. It's not interesting to me. So I think that means I DNF'd the series, technically. Oh, I said I finished it, because it's not really a series. So I finished, yeah. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. There are 6 books in the series. I have read the first one. I've recently purchased the second one, which I have yet to haul, but you will see that at some point. Oh, sorry, I actually put it in as 2 because there's a prequel novella. So I read that and then I read The Bone Season. And yeah, I haven't read the others. So I would like to. It's not a priority though, but I would like to. Right, and then we go on to Legendborn by Tracy Dion. At the moment it's a duology. There are rumours that there's a third one, but at the moment it's just 2. I read the first one. It was fine. I didn't love it. It was fine. not really interested in continuing, so I'm definitely considering DNFing. This one is very much more on the side of probably will DNF, but if anyone thinks that I really should read the second one, that I really enjoy it, that it's better. It's not that I hated the first one, I actually thought it was fine, like I enjoyed it at the time, but there were elements that I didn't love and I just don't care that much. But if you think the second one is better and I will enjoy it more and that I should read it, then please comment that as well. Alright, then we have the Cursebreaker Trilogy. I have read all 3 books, so that is finished. The Cruel Prince Trilogy by Holly Black. Sorry, I forgot to say the Cursebreaker Trilogy is by Bridget Kemmerer. The Cruel Prince Trilogy by Holly Black. Read all 3, so that's finished. Lord of the Rings Trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. Read multiple times. I have read all 3 books multiple times, so it's multiple times finished. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. There are 7 books in the series. I have read all 7, so that one's finished as well. Then we have the Graceling series by Kristen Cash-Orr. There are 5 books in the series. I have put this one as a priority because it is a priority to finish the series. However, Sea Sparrow, which is the final one, is on my list for January. I haven't got to it yet, but I'm definitely planning on reading it, so it's a priority, but it'll get done. Alright, the next one is the Abortion series. Now, I have given this a rose colour. Let me explain. I read the trilogy, the first 3 books that were written and published, which are Sabriel, Lyriel and Abortion, quite some time ago. I think late 20s or something like that. Really, really, really loved them. Absolutely some of my favourite books of all time. Thought they were amazing. Didn't even realise that there were other books coming out, but there are 3 other books in the series. I think technically they are a prequel trilogy, so I don't know whether they are actually a continuation or in the same world or a prequel. I'm not 100% sure how that all works. But I'm considering DNFing because, to be honest with you, I don't really care that much about those other 3 books. I did try reading one of them and I can't even remember which one it was, and I wasn't really loving it that much, and I put it down, and I've just got so many other books that I'm interested in, so many other series that I'm apparently still reading that I'm just not sure that I care that much. But let me know if you've read those other 3 that were written. They were written quite a bit later, just like the Kristen Cash-Orr Graceling series. But let me know. What do you think I should do? Sorry if my position, angles changed, etc. Just needed to restart the camera. But yeah, that's where I am with Abortion. Alright, the Esme series by Elizabeth Foster. I've read the first 2. It's definitely not finished. There are rumours that the 3rd one should be coming out at some point, but I haven't heard anything to suggest when or anything, so it's ongoing, but I'm up to date. Amari by B.B. Alston. I don't actually know what this series is called. The first one is Amari and the Night Brothers, the second one is Amari and the Great Game. I've read the first 2. The 3rd one I think is coming out sometime this year, but I'm not sure when, but I'm up to date and I'm very excited about the 3rd one coming out. Love this series. Alright, the Kiss Quotient trilogy by Helen Huang. I currently have this one as a DNF. So I read the first one, I quite enjoyed it. I tried to read the second one and I DNF'd it. I haven't read the 3rd one because I DNF'd the second one. However, I do know that it's a companion series rather than a kind of straight series. So let me know in the comments below. Should I try, I think it's called The Heart Principle, which is the 3rd one, or should I just say, nah, don't worry about it. I'm leaning more towards not worrying about it, which is why I've DNF'd it, but let me know what you think. The Bellinger Sisters series by Tessa Bailey. This is a massive DNF. I could not stand the first book. I don't even know how much I got read of it. I think only like, I don't know, not even a quarter, maybe an 1/8, and I just absolutely couldn't stand it. I really didn't like the way that the male lead was talking and thinking about the female lead. It felt really yucky. It felt quite misogynistic, and I really didn't like the way that the main female lead was written. I just thought it was really stupid and it was making me crazy. So I DNF'd it and I have no intention of reading the next one. That's a hard DNF. Don't try and convince me. The Brown Sisters Trilogy by Taylor Hibbert, I have read the first two, Get a Life Chloe Brown and Take a Hint Danny Brown. Definitely want to read the third one. It's not really a priority because they're not a series in the same way as some of these other books, like they are a companion series, but I definitely want to read the third one. The Bergman Brothers series by Chloe Lees, this one and the last two are similar. They are fantasy series, they are romance series that are more companion series rather than straight series. Chloe Lees, the Bergman Brothers series, there are 5 books out. There is a third one supposed to be coming out this year, I think, sometime. I'm not sure when. I've read the first one. I really enjoyed it. I want to continue, but again, it's not a priority because, yeah, it's a companion series. Similarly, Bright Falls by Ashley Herring Blake. There are 2 out. Third one supposed to be coming out this year as well. I've read the first one, really enjoyed it, really want to read the second one and the third one eventually as well when it comes out. But again, I'm not prioritizing it. It's again a companion series, so I'm not super worried. The King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. I've read the first 2. There have been rumours for many years now about the third one, and no one knows anything about when it's coming, apparently, including Patrick. But yeah, I've read the first 2, I'm up to date. So that's all I need to say, really. First Law by Joe Abercrombie, so that is a trilogy. I've read the first one. I do want to read the rest of them, it's just not a priority. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was absolutely amazing. But yeah, I will at some point continue. I do think I'll need to read the first one first before I continue. Reread, I should say. Gentlemen Bastards by Scott Lynch. At the moment, there are 3 books out. There have been rumours as well that this one is going to be an ongoing series. I don't know how many books it'll end up having, but no one knows anything further than what's currently out. I've read the 3 that are currently out, so I'm up to date. It felt like a finished series to me, but I'm not sure. So it's open. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. There are 5 books in the series. I have read all 5, so that one is finished. The Celestial Kingdom, I think, is a duology by Sue Lynn Tan. So the first one is The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Can't remember what the second one is. It came out really recently. I thought the first one was fine. I didn't love it, but it was okay. But I don't really care that much about continuing with it. But again, if you've read it, if you've read the second one, something to do with the Sun Warrior, let me know if I should continue. It is currently a maybe DNF, so let me know what you think. And then Frostheart by Jamie Littler. There are 3 books in this series. I've read the first 2. I keep putting the third one on so many TBRs and not getting to it. This probably goes up after my TBR for February, so you will have seen, I hope, that the third one is actually on my TBR for February, so I'll get to it. And it's a priority, but I'll definitely get to it. The Hell's Library series by AJ Hackwith. This is a trilogy. I've read the first one. I did really enjoy it. I'd like to continue, but it's not really a priority at the moment. The Strange the Dreamer series by Laini Taylor. I have read the 2 books that are out, and it's finished. It's a finished series, so I finished the series. An Emma in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. I have read the first 2, and there are 2 more to read. I have them all. I need to prioritise them, so it is coloured purpley for that reason. Definitely want to get to them. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwong. There are 3 books in the series. I read the first one. I did not like it. I have no intention of finishing, so it is a DNF. The Order of the Stick. This is a comic graphic novel series by Rich Burlow. There are 6. I've read the first 3 volumes. I definitely want to continue, finish it, but it's not a priority as well. But at some point I'll get to it. Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have read the 4 volumes that are currently out. There should be the 5th and final volume coming out this year. Hopefully soon, not sure when exactly, but definitely excited for that, and I will pick it up and read it fairly quickly thereafter. Brutes of Chaos by Samantha Shannon. So this is another companion series. The first one is A Priory of the Orange Tree, which you should be able to see behind me, which I absolutely loved. The Day of Fallen Night, I think is what it's called. The next one is actually a prequel, and it's coming out fairly soon. The Millennium series by Stieg Larsson. So this is the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. So this is similar to Oseman. There were 3 in the trilogy written by Stieg Larsson, and then when he passed away, someone else, and I'm not sure, a relative of his, but I'm not sure how they're related, wrote another 3 in the series. And then apparently there's another one, so a 7th one coming out this year. But I don't really want to read them. It felt like a finished series to me. It felt like a trilogy, and I was happy to have read it and be done. So I'm calling that done. I'm calling it finished because I really don't care. Again, if you think I should read them, let me know, but I probably won't. Harry Potter by you-know-who. 7 books, I've read them all. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is a trilogy. There are 3 books in the series. I have read the first one. It was fine, but I don't really care to continue, so that's a DNF as well. 6 of Crows Duology by Leigh Bardugo. I have read 6 of Crows. I really want to read the second one, A Crooked Kingdom, and I didn't put the colour to prioritise, but I do want to prioritise it. I definitely want to finish that off. I only took 2 books in the series, so I really need to get it done. The Broken Earth Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I have read the trilogy. I really enjoyed it, and it's finished. On Lunar Time by Amber Crowley. I actually kind of forgot that I was reading this until I looked at my Goodreads to help me with this spreadsheet, and I read the first one. I don't really care that much. I don't think I DNF'd it. No, I haven't DNF'd it, but I don't really care that much about continuing with it. Let me know if you think I should, if it's worth my time, but I don't really care. But anyway, it was okay. Welsh Family by Marian Keyes. There were 5 books in the series. There's another one came out last year, I think, which I haven't read yet, but I do own it, so I do need to read that at some point. The Diviners by Libba Bray. I've read the first 2. There are 2 more left to read. I do want to read these. Actually, I'm going to prioritise these as well. I'd really like to read these before I have to restart again, before they leave my brain completely. The Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire. I read the first one. There are 8 out. There's supposed to be another 2 coming this year, and I've read the first one. They're really little novellas, so I really don't know why I haven't continued, but I definitely would like to. I've heard nothing but amazing things about them, so yeah, definitely want to at some point. It's not really a priority though. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I read the first one. It was fine, but I don't want to continue, so that's a DNF. The Witch King by H.E. Edgman. There are 2 books in the series. I have read the first one. I'm currently reading and almost finished the second one, so I put it as a priority, but it'll be finished fairly soon. ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. There are currently 5 books in the series. I've read the first 4. I do want to read the final one, but honestly, the first 3 felt like a trilogy, and then, yeah, I feel like I've kind of finished that trilogy off, so I'm not super worried about. I will, but I'm not prioritising continuing. Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I've read the 2 that are out, so I'm up to date. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. There are a ridiculous number, 17 books in the series. I tried to read the first one and I didn't really think that much of it. I didn't get super far into it, but I put it down. I wasn't interested. I don't know if I want to continue the series. It is really long, a lot of really chunky books, and I'm just not sure whether I'm that interested. So I should put this one, I've DNF'd it for now, but let me know. The end of the second Crescent City kind of implies that I may have to read them, but let me know what you think. Anyway, A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin, so Game of Thrones. There are 5 books out at the moment. I have read those 5. There are rumours that the next 2 should be along at some point, but they're very much only rumours at the moment, so we'll see, but I'm up to date. Shadowhunters by Cassandra Clare. I read the first 3 Mortal Instruments. I read the 3 books in the Dark Artificers series. Is that what it's called? The Infernal Devices is the series. And then I DNF'd the 4th book of the Mortal Instruments. Couldn't stand it. Definitely am not going back to the Mortal Instruments. You could not pay me enough to finish that series. However, I am considering potentially giving Cassandra Clare another try and trying another series, so let me know which one you think I should try. I didn't mind the Infernal Devices. So if that helps at all. Chocolate series by Joanne Harris. Now, I always think of the first book, Chocolat, as a standalone. I at some point read the second one, although I'd actually forgotten that I had. There are 2 more in that series, but to be honest with you, I'm quite happy just to call it at Chocolat. I love that book, but I'm happy it felt like a finished book. So I'm calling that a DNF. At the moment, I may come back to it, but it's not a hard DNF, but yeah. Babysitters Club series by Anne M. Martin. I've left this blank. I don't know how many books there are in the series. I read some when I was a teenager. Don't really care about continuing, so that's where we are with that one. Arc of the Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I have read all 3 books in the series. There is a companion called The Gleanings, which is other short stories in the world. I may at some point read it, but I've read the trilogy, so I'm happy with that. Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. There are 5 books in that series. I have read the first one. I would like to read the rest, but I'm really not bothered about when I get around to it, so we'll see how we go. The Roland Sinclair Mysteries by Sulari Gentle. There are 10 books in the series. I've read the first one. I definitely at some point would like to read some more, but I don't know whether these are the kinds of books that have to be read in order. I mean, I think you have to read the first one first, but then they're kind of like Miss Marple or Poirot books. Like, you get a little bit of series continuation and character building, but I don't think it's necessary that you read them in order. So I think I'll just dip in and out of that one. Definitely not a priority though. The Trixie Belden series by Julie Campbell and Catherine Kenny. This is a young adult mystery series that I read a lot of. I don't think I finished, but I read a lot of when I was a teenager. Absolutely loved them. I don't know how many there are in the series. I don't know if I finished them. I don't particularly care to. I'm happy with having read them. Aaron Falk's books by Jane Harper. I've read the first one, The Dry. I have the last one. I definitely want to read the 3. I really enjoyed The Dry. I like Jane Harper's writing style. Let me know, should I read? Do I need to read the second one before the third one, or do you think it matters? Let me know. Temperance Brennan books by Kathy Reichs. So this is the book series that inspired the Bones, the TV show Bones. I enjoy Kathy Reichs' writing style. I've read a few, but it's another one I'm going to dip in and out of. I'm not worried about reading them in order or all of them at all. I'll just pick up some books when and if I want to, and yeah, that's how I'm going to approach that one. The Pendragon Cycle by Stephen Lorehead. There are 5 books in the series. I have read all 5. The Song of Albion by Stephen Lorehead. There are 3 books in the series. I've read all 3. King Raven by Stephen Lorehead. There are 3 books in that series, and I have read the first one. At some point, I would like to get around to reading the second and third, but very much not a priority at this stage. Earth Children series by Jean M. Ayoul. There are 6 books in the series. I read the first 2. I DNF'd the third one. And look, it's a pretty hard DNF. I don't really care about going back to the series. I was interested in the first 2, but found the third one pretty boring. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. I read the 4 Twilight books that are a complete series. There is another one which is Midnight Sun, which is, I don't know if it's all 4 or if it's just the first Twilight book from Edward's perspective, but I have absolutely no intention of reading that book. Can't stand Edward. Don't think a lot of the Twilight series in general. Edward is an extremely problematic character. I did not read this when I was in my teens, so I don't have all this nostalgia that a lot of people have. Not interested in reading Midnight Sun. Couldn't pay me. 50 Shades series by E.L. James. There are 4 books in the series. I've read the first one. Again, hard DNF. You couldn't pay me to finish it off. Just no. I've written books by Hilda Stahl. I've just written books in the series. I don't know what. There are a bunch of different series. She may have some standalones. I'm not sure. I've read a bunch of different books in a bunch of different series. I'm done. I read them when I was a kid. They're young adult. I don't want to go back to them. But I've read some. They're there because I've read them. Dritzt. So this is a bunch of different trilogies in an overarching series similar to the Robin Hobbs by R.A. Salvatore. They are kind of Dungeons and Dragons type style books. I don't know how many there are in the series. I read the first one. I wouldn't mind continuing. Rowan loves them, so I definitely want to, give them their due, but it's not a priority at all. So I'll get to them at some point, who knows when. Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. There are 8 books in the series. I have read the first 4. I'm quite happy with that. I don't necessarily feel the need to finish the series. I'm not opposed to it. At some point I may go back and read them. I'm happy with the books I've read. I really enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the others, but I don't really remember a lot about them. But yeah, I'm not too concerned. The Little Women series by Louisa May Alcott. There are actually 5 books in that series, which I did not know. I thought Little Women was a standalone. I'm happy to leave it at that, to be honest. I have no particular interest in continuing. I did really enjoy Little Women, but I'm happy with it being what it is. If you think I should continue with the series, if you think I'd get anything out of it, if you think I'd enjoy it, please let me know. But at the moment I have no particular interest in reading anymore. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is technically, I think, 2 companion novels. So you have The Hate You Give and Concrete Rose. So I've read the first one. At some point I will read Concrete Rose, but because I don't think they're like a series, I'm not super worried. It's not a priority. Locked Tomb by Tamsin Muir. So the first one of that is Gideon the Ninth. There are 4 books in the series. I don't know if there's going to be any more, but at the moment there are 4 books. I DNF'd the first one. I just didn't get what was going on. Like, I really didn't understand it. Apparently, in the last couple of chapters, it all actually falls into place and becomes clear, but I was too confused to continue. And I don't particularly want to finish the series. I don't really want to read them. However, again, if you think that it will definitely be something I'm interested in, and I definitely should power through, I can at least give Gideon another try, but it's going to be pretty low on the priority list because I'm really not that fussed. Girl Talk by L.E. Blair, another young adult contemporary series that I read when I was a kid, closer probably to middle grade. Definitely haven't finished them, don't know how many books there are, happy to have read whatever I read, don't even remember, but it's here because it's a series I've read in my life. Faraway Tree by Enid Blyton, absolutely exactly the same thing. I've read some of this series in my life. I'm happy to leave it at that. Nancy Drew by Carolyn Kenny, absolutely exactly the same. This is a probably young adult mystery series that I really enjoyed, but again, I'm happy to have read what I've read and call it done. The Naughtiest Girl in School series by Enid Blyton, absolutely exactly the same thing as I've been saying. Discord series by Terry Pratchett. There are 50 odd, I think, books in the series. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think I've read absolutely all of them, but I've read pretty well most of them. So they're definitely books I'll come back to, but I'm not in a great rush to finish off anything or anything like that. The Kate Martinelli series by Laurie R. King. 5 books in the series, and then which I've read all of. And then there's I don't know if it's a prequel. Oh no, it's a 20 years later one. And I don't really know that I'm particularly interested in reading it. I mean, if it was given to me, I would read it, but I don't particularly feel the need to search it out and read it. Harris Stuyvesant by Laurie R. King. Duology. I've read both books. Simon Snow series by Rainbow Rowell. There are 3 books in that series. I read the first one, and that's enough for me. I'm done. Rainbow Rowell is one of those, turns out, slightly problematic authors. It was fine, but I didn't love it, and then problematic. Yeah, I'm probably not going to read it. The Space Trilogy by C.S. Lewis. There are 3 books in the trilogy, obviously, and I've read all 3, so I am up to date. I have finished. Well, it's finished, so I'm finished. Earthsea Quartet by Ursula K. Le Guin. There are 4 books in the series. I have read all 4. Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I didn't tick that for some reason, but I have read it, the first one, Sorcery of Thorns. There is another one coming out this year, which I'll probably get to. I think it's a companion, but yeah, it's not out yet. Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne. Another series that I read when I was a kid. There are 4 in the series. I read all 4. The Bronze Horseman by Paulina Simmons. There are 3 books in this series. I read the first one. I'm DNFing. I mean, the first one was fine. I liked it, but I didn't love it enough to want to continue with the series. So I'm just going to say I'm happy to have read the first one, and that's enough. The number 1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. I don't know how many there are in the series. I read the first one. Don't need to continue. Not that fussed. Same with the Pufferfish Mysteries by David Owen. Read the first one. Don't really care that much about the rest. Enola Holmes Mysteries by Nancy Springer. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 books in the series. I've read the first one. I don't really care. I'm happy to continue, but I'm not prioritizing it. I haven't DNF'd it because I'm not 100% never going to read it, but it's not a priority at all. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson is a trilogy. I've read all 3 books, so I'm finished. Surrender the Sun by A.R. Shaw. There are actually 5 books in that series. I read the first one. It was fine. I mean, actually, no, it was pretty bad. I have no intention of finishing this or continuing with the series. Hercule Poirot series by Agatha Christie. Don't know how many there are. Again, I'm happy to dip in and out, but I don't intend to read the entire series in order or anything like that. Same with Miss Marple series by Agatha Christie as well. All for the Game by Nora Sakavic. There are 4 books in the series. I've read all 4. Deadly Miss by R.J. Amos. There are 3 books in the series currently. I've read the first one. I'm not opposed to reading them. It was fine. I would read the rest, but it's not a priority at all either. The Lady Grace Mysteries by Grace Cavendish. Gosh, there are a lot of books in this series. 1, 2, 3, 12 books in that series. I'm probably done. I'm probably okay with just having read that first one. The Every series by Ellie Marnie. 3 books in that series. Absolutely fantastic. Young adult mystery Sherlock Holmes retelling. Loved them. Read all 3. The Singing Hills Cycle by Niveau. There are 3 books currently out and another one that's supposed to come out this year. I've read the first 2. At some point I'll read the rest. They're little novellas, so I'll definitely get to them, but definitely not a priority at all. Detective Ellen Warner by Sarah Pierce. I've read the first one. There are 2. The first one I didn't really like very much. I don't want to read the second one. The Keys to the Kingdom series by Garth Nix. There are 7 books in that series and I've read them all. Bird Box by Josh Malerman. There are 2 books in that series and I've read the first one. It felt like a finished book. I don't particularly want to read the second one. Sorry if the angle has changed. I had to swap the batteries out. My other battery ran out of battery power. So I was up to Stand Still, Stay Silent, a graphic novel series by Mina Sandberg. There are 3 books. I've read all 3. The Lincoln Rhyme series by Jeffrey Deaver. There are 15 books in the series. I read the first one. It was fine. I really liked the movie of it. So I read the first one because has been adapted, but I don't really care about continuing. And if I do, it'll be another one I dip in and out of. Wraith Kings by Grace Draven. 10 books in that series. I had no idea. I've read the first one. I did really enjoy it. I do want to continue with the series, but again, it's really not a priority at all at this stage. Pages & Co. by Anna James. There are 4 books currently in this series. I've read the first one. I'm interested in reading the next lot, although, again, it's not a priority, but, I potentially would read them. K. Scarpetta by Patricia Cornwall. Exactly the same as Kathy Reichs and some of these other books. I will happily dip in and out, but I have no intention of reading the entire series. Certainly don't care about reading them in order. Lake Chronicles by A.J. Pierce. There are 3 books in that series. I've read the first one. I definitely would like to read the rest, although, again, it's really not a priority. And then finally, Goosebumps by R.L. Stein. I've read a bunch. Don't really care to read the rest. That's all 114 series that are on my series tracker. Like I said, we have got 67 ongoing, 20 finished and 26 DNF. We have 6 series that I'm considering DNFing, so I need you guys to help me figure out if I am in fact going to DNF. And we have got 10 priority series that I'd like to at least make some headway in, if not finish this year. That is everything I needed to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for sticking with me and sticking to the end if you did in fact do so. Very long video, so thank you. Please comment all of your thoughts, particularly around my maybe DNFs. Please comment below any series that you are considering DNFing or that you are prioritizing, or really anything else about your own series situation. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me a brain exploding emoji, because I feel like the number of series on here has definitely exploded my brain. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy this video, and I will see you next time.